How is Fear the Walking Dead this good? It's insane. I loved season 6 and I'm loving season 7 already. It's just really good. It's just really brilliant. And I had some kind of conversations online with people saying that Fear the Walking Dead is better than The Walking Dead right now. And maybe it is. Maybe it is. I would say season 6 of Fear the Walking Dead was better than season 10, but for this season so far, it's very hard to kind of pinpoint that because, Walking Dead's only 8 episodes in. Fear the Walking Dead is only 3 episodes in, neither season is finished, so we have to wait until the end. But also, The Walking Dead is only really starting its last season because usually it's only 16 episodes. This season, of course, an extended one for 24, but we've got 16 The Walking Dead episodes left. And Fear the Walking Dead, I don't know how many's in this season, but so far so good in this nuclear fallout world. The cinematography, the music choices, the story, everything about it has just been fascinating so far, and I've been in love with it. I love the anthology feel to Fear the Walking Dead, a different character each episode, and Morgan kind of pops up in them all. He ties the episodes all together because of his war, probably with Strand, and maybe even the Bounty Hunter in the next coming episodes. The Bounty Hunter's brother, who we got to see in Season 6, Episode 1. But this episode right here, titled Cindy Hawkins. This episode follows June and Dory's routine in Teddy's fallout shelter, but it's disrupted when they discover the origins of their home and its sinister connections to Teddy's past. So at the end of season 6, Teddy's master plan came together. He got to launch the missile which caused this nuclear fallout that we see ourselves in for season 7. But Teddy also had a shelter planned. But before he could go into that shelter with Dakota, June and Dory showed up. And they were able to stop Teddy, they killed Teddy, and Dakota kind of was wiped out by the nuclear when it launched. So you have June and Dory, and they have been staying in this underground shelter for the past few months. And they discover this was actually where Teddy used to kill his women, because he was a serial killer back in the 60s, 70s, or 80s, wherever it was. And he used to brutally murder women. And this is where he did it. So they discover this, and it's pretty bad, it's terrifying and stuff like that. John Dory Sr. was the sheriff who hunted down Teddy for years when he was doing these murders. And he was able to find every single person that Teddy had killed except for one. And that one person still haunts him to this day, which was Cindy Hawkins, which is the title for this episode. But we get to see June and John playing games, living their life underground. It's the same day over and over again. Playing board games very much like how June and John Dory Jr. did back in season 4. So that's a nice little parallel right there. But it's the same day over and over again. And they haven't gone up. And you have June, who estimates that more or less they have to stay here for a year to avoid the radiation. And they have like a chart or a countdown, day 67, that's how many days they've been there, 230 something days to go before they can actually leave. But later in the episode, we actually find out that June was telling lies to John. She didn't really know because she didn't want to leave. She didn't want to go out there and see what was next. She was happy enough having the same day over and over again, not living her life, more or less. John Dory throughout this episode starts to have nightmares or dreams about Cindy Hawkins because he's an alcoholic. He's drank alcohol all of his life, but now he has none, so he's having withdrawal symptoms. But he hears cries for help above the shelter, and he puts up a makeshift suit to investigate. He finds Teddy's body, which was pretty cool to see actually, and we got to see Dakota's body as well, and he's able to put Dakota out of her misery. Dakota's still alive in zombie form, and yeah, he's able to take her out, but that was pretty insane. Those zombies looked terrifying. But he sees Cindy Hawkins, and Cindy Hawkins is basically talking to Teddy like, you promised to find me, you never did. And Teddy's haunted by this. He really is. But this was just a terrifying scene right here. To see this woman with her mouth stitched up. That's what Teddy used to do to these women, which was terrible. But then John notices these 3 guys just standing there with guns. And this is the group known as the Stalkers. We've seen them since episode 1 so far this season. They've adapted pretty well to this fallout nuclear environment with the radiation. And they're standing there, and Teddy quickly has to go back into the shelter. June is there as well and kind of saves him and brings them back in, because John Dory thought he was talking to Cindy Hawkins, but he was actually talking to a walker, and the walker was about to bite him, and June comes out of nowhere and shoots the walker, and they go back into the shelter. But these 3 men, the Stalkers, are above them and know exactly where they are. But I want to mention something pretty cool as well about this episode. We kind of got this snake symbol, which is a snake intertwining. It means life and death and repeated. Alpha from The Walking Dead had a belt with the exact same kind of symbol on it as well. So that's a pretty cool Easter egg. I did appreciate that. Just something cool for us fans to kind of notice. Actually, a few episodes ago, or maybe in the last episode, there was a Beta reference as well because he used to be a country singer. So that's pretty cool. But then John Dory Sr. gets more visions of Cindy Hawkins about how she was tortured, and this just really, really haunts him big time. And June tries to tell John, "You're not well. You know, you're seeing everything because of the alcohol. You're not in the best state of mind right now." And Cindy Hawkins is basically talking to John Dory. She says, "She lied to you, John. Those guys up there look okay." And June has been saying we can't leave after what, a year? So then John Dory's like, "Were you telling the truth? Are you being serious that we have to stay down here? Those guys seemed fine." And June says, "I don't know. I was scared to go up. I didn't want to go." And of course, John Dory Sr. is very upset because basically he was a prisoner here with June just to keep her company until the day they died because she didn't want to go outside of her comfort zone. But they're both in a pretty bad situation because these stalkers are above them. They know exactly where they are. And also, John Dory now believes he knows where Sydney Hawkins' body is. He looked at Teddy's stuff, went through his stuff, and believes that it's near her boyfriend's house because he never checked there or something like that. But he's obsessed with finding her body because he sees her ghost, and June is trying to tell him, "Look, you're not well, you need to stop this. We're going to get killed by these guys, or this dirt's going to kill us. We need to figure out something." And then June gets kind of trapped where one of the beams falls on top of her. John Dory suits up, he goes up into the environment, he takes on a few of these stalkers, he sees some dead people, which I'm presuming is some of Teddy's victims. Some pretty cool shots in this as well. I really, really liked it. He takes out a few of them. I think a few of them run off as well. And then we cut down in the shelter where one of these stalkers is now down there with June. And just before this stalker can kill June, then Teddy comes to the rescue again, realizing that, yeah, I was just seeing everything. I need to help June. And he goes down and he kills this stalker, which was pretty awesome of him. And then they find Sydney Hawkins' body, which was actually put into the walls by Teddy because I think he said the police were on his tail and he must just did it last second and he put her body into the wall. But it's some closure for John Dory Sr. as a character. He kept his promise. He found her body and now he kind of feels better about himself. And I think the withdrawal symptoms are kind of weared off at this stage in terms of no alcohol, and that's what the biggest problem was. But he was just haunted. And the reason he was probably so addicted to alcohol was probably because he never had found her body in the first place, or Teddy had gotten away with that one person. So I think that's full circle. Very much like how the snake is in and out, full circle, life and death and stuff like that. So I did like that moment right there. But just as they're trying to leave the shelter, because they have to, they can't stay there for any longer, it kind of collapses on top of them. But they awaken in a very nice place with new clothes. Well, June was awake a few days, I think, before John Dory Sr. was. But basically, they're in Strand's tower. Strand's men heard June and John over the radio because they used to use a radio every day to call out and see if anyone was above them or if anyone was alive. And now they're in the tower. And John doesn't really like it too much. He doesn't really want to trust Strand because Strand turned on Morgan. But they have no choice right now because Strand has power. He is the most powerful person in the Fallout right now because of what he has, the resources he has, the power he has, the people he has. He is in control. So June and John Dory Sr. can't really leave. And even if they wanted to leave, they can't leave. Look at this. The entire surroundings of this tower is full of walkers. And remember, Strand wanted this to attract people as well because he has that kind of spotlight at the top of the tower to attract people and to keep people away. The dead will come to keep people away. So people will know if they come across this tower, they can't get in because there's too many walkers. So Strand has actually built the most of perfect locations to survive in the zombie apocalypse, surrounded by the dead. Pretty cool. So then June and John, they can't leave if they wanted to. But then we get an awesome shot of Morgan right now, a similar shot that we got of John Dory earlier in the episode. And he has heard John, Dory and June over the radio as well, but Strand's men got there before Morgan could. And then there's a walkie-talkie exchange, very much how Rick and Negan had one back in season 8. Loved it. And Strand is the villain this season. He definitely is. It's Morgan v Strand. And Morgan's like, if you hurt anybody I care about, I will come for you and I will do what you tried to do to me at the submarine. But this time I won't miss because Strand missed. He tried to kill Morgan, tried to feed him to the walkers, and it didn't succeed. But Morgan's saying, you trying to rebuild the world, that's good, Strand. You helping people, that's good. But do not hurt anybody I care about. And Strand's like, I can do whatever I want. I am in control right now, Morgan. I'm doing what you couldn't do. I'm making a thriving environment, a community where people can survive the next world. You couldn't do that, Morgan. And Morgan is kind of left alone right now. There's a cool shot of Morgan kind of walking away through this fallout. Morgan's on his own. He has Grace, he has baby Mo, but he doesn't have that family anymore. He doesn't have Alicia. John Dorian Jr. at the tower now as well. So Morgan very much is on his own. I'm very interested to see how Morgan v Strand really happens. How does Morgan get in front of Strand? How does this develop even more? Do this group known as the Stalkers do something? Do they join Morgan? Are they good people? Are they bad? Is it Alicia's group? Because she's her own group as well. They kind of got separated as well. So we'll have to see how it goes. But so far this season, 3 episodes in, has been pretty top notch. I've loved the cinematography, the look, this environment, which is the fallout, is new to The Walking Dead, and they're knocking it out of the park. So I would agree with some people that say that Fear the Walking Dead is better than Walking Dead right now. The writing is a lot better, it's a lot sharper, the story moves a lot better, and there isn't too much filler in Fear the Walking Dead right now. And in The Walking Dead, there does be a lot of filler at times. But they're 2 different shows led by 2 different groups of teams that have unique visions, and it's good that they're not the same. Fear the Walking Dead is doing something that we've never seen in the Walking Dead universe before. Ever. This apocalypse with nuclear environments, with radiation. It's insane. It's pretty interesting, and I'm loving it right now. It's so different from World Beyond, and it's so different from Walking Dead. That's what you want. You want differences between these shows. What's the point of having them if they're going to be the exact same every single week, every single episode, every single season? But guys, what was your thoughts on Fear the Walking Dead Season 7, Episode 3, titled Cindy Hawkins? Let me know below. Guys, thanks for clicking on this video. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, follow me at Movies That Matter on all social media. Guys, see you for the next review. Thanks for watching.